Oh my days. Oh my fucking days. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is day 202. I think I don't even remember. Yeah, 202, maybe 203. Boys, it is gonna be a long day video today. I already fucking know it. We've been averaging like um 30-minute 20-minute videos. Yeah, day 202. 20-minute videos for the past 2 days. This is no different because a lot of advancements made. So let's just get started. Enough of the yip yap. If you want to know about my day, I went to the gym. That's it. Yeah. Um. So total stats for the day. It is currently 12:38 a.m. I've been working since around 12:30. I'd say 12:30 to 1, give or take. I had probably about I give myself 4 hours of break, including eating, and I went to go watch Jaden Che, little bro's basketball game. 36 points. They fucking smoked them by 36. Jaden ended with a 4 point, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Pretty decent stat line. Yeah. And yeah, so about 4 hours of the day was away from the, drawing board, which I'll give you that. But so what? Four. I mean, 1 until 12. That's what? Yeah, 12 and a half hours. About 8 hours of work, I'd say. I don't know. Maybe I'm capping. No, actually, I've been up since 9, and I instantly was doing some stuff. So maybe another 2 hours. Yeah, 10 hours of work today, pretty much. Um, I don't know if this is all worth 10 hours of work, but it did take 10 hours. So what I remember doing was it's been a long day. Honestly, I can't, basically sum it all up today. Before I actually get to showing y'all, I have been researching, redeveloping this hoodie, fine tuning it, making it into almost something completely different. Honestly, with the vision I have encapsulated for it that I've already solidified. Um, if we look at V1 of the sample, it is, yeah. And then we look at V1.5, which was me trying to just tweak it. So yeah, I started with a V1.5. So we obviously all know what the V1 looks like. It's the basic. Let me pull it up actually, because this is going to be a long video. Oh, I already know. I already know it's going to be a long video. This is V1. We all know. I talked about the errors and the mistakes I made in the last video. I'm not going to go into much detail. That's V1. Now, don't know what I was thinking, but this was very, very. I made this in like fucking 5-10 minutes. This was just stupid, quick adjustments. This is I wouldn't even call it V2. This is V1.5, V1.25. Don't know what I was thinking here. I think I was high on crack or something this morning because I was just, yeah. If you can't fucking tell the difference, because there virtually is none. Obviously, there was a crazy random stitches on the others on the first version. If I can find it, you see the white border of the graphic. That has been removed, replaced with a double stitched thing, black double stitch with about a 0.6 millimeter marginal gap from the actual edge of the fabric to the inside. That is actually the main effect I was missing. If you look at the photos of the sample I was sent, you can tell that the way they stitched it was they stitched it so close to the margins of the edges. They left literally no room for any sort of, gap in between the edge of the graphic and the stitch. So that is something on my part that I did not clarify because I thought, the reference will be enough. No, I should have specified clearly that I did want a marginal allowance. I think I found the sweet spot. It's roughly 2 to 3 millimeters. Originally, I was thinking 0.6 millimeters, and that was kind of too high. And then anything under 0.2 is basically negligible. So around the 0.2 to 0.4 area is roughly the Goldilocks zone, which is where you want it. This allows for the stitching to have a little bit of gap, which you can kind of fray. It's allowed you to fold it inward, or just lock it in place, and then you fray it so that it creates that distressing. This is done manually. This is something I did not clarify at all, which is a mistake on my part. Now, the yellow part here. Okay, let's not. This has already been 5 minutes. I don't want to go through V1.1.15 too fucking much. I put a yellow lining interior inside. It's ugly as shit. It looks like a fucking minion. And I added 2 more stripes on the side, so it totals about 4 stripes. Yeah, cool, nice. Nothing changed. Lame. Enough of Procreate right now. I thought, okay, let's just get back to the drawing board, not the drawing board, but the brainstorming board. So we started going through. I started just drawing up some random shit. I was thinking about pattern, kind of switching around the arrangement of things. This is currently the rough ideas. What I present to you now is the full-fledged blueprint, formula, and about fucking 7 hours of culminated, thorough research that I have done in the entire day to get to this point. So, let us start. Here we are. You guys recognize this place? This is, yeah, look, just so you know, this is everything. This was the original. We've added all this. So we've added basically like another half. So, I've added some errors so you can follow along. Boom. Whoop, whoop. Shit, the sample's actually done after a month. Boom. Here we come to the next chapter. Potential new developments and revisions to be fixed. Needs no further explanation. This is new changes to the hoodie, new things I want to add, and revisions of old things that need to be fixed. So yeah, this is. I'm just gonna go through in depth everything because I just want to explain to it. It's kind of fun. I could explain this. Y'all don't really need to know this. You probably won't even watch this, but it's fun. I don't care. This is a passion project, so obviously I'm very excited to share it. Boom. Let's start here. 2-tone colors. This is a design concept I had for the hoodie. Right now, okay, at this very point in time, I've stopped because I wanted to go to sleep. It's kind of getting kind of late. Right now, I'm at the stage of developing the mock-ups, the actual drawings. This is the original concept I had at the start. So we're starting at the very start from, this is chronological. This is exactly where I started. I was like, okay, wait, what if I did 2-tone colors? Which essentially, as the images speak for itself, it's, there's not one primary color of the fabric. They use different, designs, colors, whatever. This one here is a camo on brown. Yeah, and it's all still, connected. It's just the patterns they use. Some of them are different colored. I thought this would be cool for the design. It's still doesn't take away from the full thing. Adds a bit more visual distinction to the hoodie. That way, it's not too plain. My original idea here was one of the shades. So I was kind of just going off this one. I say this one's probably the most relevant. These other 3, they're just different kind of variations. But if there was one I'd make, it'd probably be similar to this one. My original idea was just deep navy blue for the kind of first tone, and then 1 shade higher for the second tone. After a few minutes in the lab, I will now present. We actually didn't end up going with that. I did some trials. Turns out it's uglier than I thought. So we've kind of swapped it around. What? This is completely unfinished. This is the start. This is probably like step 2. But yeah, this is what I've got so far. It's a darker shade of the pockets and the cuffs, and yeah, that looks better than having a dark on light. A light on dark is a little better. But yeah, we'll get a little more further into this. This type of pattern is nice. Yeah, just talking about like this one, more relevant. Okay, next, new embroidery. So as you can see, the at piece label on the bottom pocket of the hoodie, and this is the original sample photo I was provided. It was printed and stitched with self fabric, meaning that this label that was stitched on the patch is actually made from the same fabric of the hoodie, which is obviously like 100% cotton fleece. It's lightweight, not too heavy, pretty thin. I don't think it's woven, but it's still pretty light. 100% cotton. I think also the dimensions on my graphic file were not 300 dpi. Yeah, this is the #1 rule of any graphic that you want to use that isn't vectorized and it's actually rasterized. You need to have it 300 dpi at the bare minimum, or else if you print it, it will be blurry as shit. Clearly, this is the case, and I double checked it, and it indeed was not 300 dpi. So yeah, the actual print came out blurry as hell. You can see it here. Obviously, this one is 300 dpi because I did make sure to do that. So you can tell this is a little more clear. You can kind of see every detail, which is great. This one, on the other hand, literally you can see the blur from a mile away. Tragic. But yeah, so knowing this, we update the file 300 dpi, which I already did. And to add some 3D dimension, I think we're going to try embroidering the text. And we're going to swap out the fabric. This is a reference photo I have. This here, you can tell, is a much more heavier fabric, and I believe they use a cotton twill fabric because you can tell by its woven strings, kind of comes in like a diagonal pattern, and it might even be polyester blended, but I wouldn't know. You know, it's a little flimsy, so it might be less on the heavier side. Polyester blended makes it a little more lightweight, and this is good for embroidery. It's thicker and it looks, pops out a little more, and doesn't look like whatever the fuck this is. New fabrics can be selected from cotton duck canvas, cotton twill poly blended, or just some mix of cotton twill. Probably will be going with twill. Actually, maybe no. It depends. Depends on the patch, but we will get that confirmed eventually. So yeah, moving on to the next thing, which I believe is down here. Boom. So these two were sort of revisions. This is obviously a revision. But this is kind of a development. This is probably our next, or one of our most major developments, a gray colorway. So people like variation, and for a first drop, a second colorway isn't a bad idea. It's nice to have some options. Not many people may fuck with the blue, and they may desire other colors. So it's not entirely bad to have a second colorway, although it does quite literally double my expenses. It also, the trade-off is doubles the profits. Yeah, it's basically a second product. And gray works. I've seen a bunch of gray hoodies with these patches, and I think, I see the vision for it. So as I'm developing the blue mock-up, which I showed you previously. Oh my god. Yo, whole time I wasn't even okay. Whole time not even showing the screen. Nah, I'm tripping. Yo, I'm tripping. Okay, okay, we're too far in this video to swap to fucking to redo it. This is the new embroidery. Okay, quickly, you have a look here. Fucking pause the video if you need to. That's all I'm saying. I don't care. Great colorway. Oh my god, yo, I've been fucking up the past. Yo, I look like an idiot, bro. Y'all don't even know what I was talking about. Yeah, great colorway here. I just read the notes, but this is the marker for the gray colorway. It comes in a blue, still has the same consistency with the blue. Looks good, you know. That's kind of how two tones are most effectively used, where they are put onto gray or white, a very contrasting color. That's kind of how that works. So gray does make sense. I fuck with the gray. I think gray could be a very good colorway option if done right. The blue helps to sort of offset the light tones of the gray because the blue on the pockets, as you saw, the pocket and the cuffs, obviously our patches are darker, so it kind of helps to balance out the overall color scheme. You know, you wouldn't have a lot of gray and then dark patches. Just, I don't know, it wouldn't fit. But even if it does, then yeah, we'll play around. Obviously, I want to see different variations of it. So yeah, the next thing I believe, different patch placements. So I have some notes here. What if it didn't have to be one big graphic in the front? I get that there's a message behind it, but overlaying and collaging them together could help provide more emphasis and more context behind the idea of the message. I like the idea of collaging multiple patches together in spots around the hoodie. It feels much more complex when there's multiple areas of design rather than one giant graphic in the middle. This is a idea that I don't actually know. I'm kind of at a standstill, like 50-50, whether I want to go into the left, into the idea of, just having one big graphic in the middle. I feel like that still is probable, still works. Or, as you can see in these references, I'm more leaning towards like this one. It's a hoodie. It's kind of collaged in the side. You see this dark shirts one. I'm pretty sure this is embroidered. It's not even, but it's the same idea here, where it's kind of these square patches all in like the breast pocket area. Like that could work too. Obviously, I would need more graphics. I'd probably do like something like this, where it's kind of just three graphics collaged together, stitched together. Uh, yeah, but I think a big graphic in the middle also does work. Now, forever in the case, this is why I did my research, guys. Obviously, I said this before, where you don't want to. The only real capability you have is your own comprehension, not knowing if you can actually pull this off. Like if you were to develop this idea, how could you actually turn it into a real product? I made sure to do my due diligence, do my research. Boom. This is quite literally the instructions on how you could produce a hoodie like this. And I even added the fucking Chinese translation because I felt like some of the words that I was saying, like this warp and whiff threads, are kind of a little too sophisticated. So I was like, why don't I simplify this? Try and put Chinese. Don't know if it translates right, but I don't give a shit. This actually doesn't make sense. I'm gonna remove this. I'm kind of scared I'm not recording the screen again. But yeah, I'm not gonna go through this. This is all just like this is like instructions. You don't really need to know any of this. Just know that it is possible to do what I want to do. And there's also some new stuff that I've never really even seen. Like here, so you can add a DTG pre-treatment fluid to the patch fabric, which says essentially acts like a primer, and it pops your colors out more vibrantly. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Next we have zip up instead of closed off hoodie. This is not really a revision, or this isn't really a major change. Simply just changing the style of hoodie. Doesn't change much. But yeah, I always like zip up hoodies more than blank ones. So we're just catering to my personal preference. And actually, before even all this, I wanted to originally do a zip up. Yeah, even one of my earliest mock ups is a zip up hoodie. But my lack of expertise at that time thought it wasn't possible because I was unsure how a patch could be sewn on top of a zip like this. I was like, how the fuck are you going to put this patch on top of the zip? And before this, I didn't really know about anything, how sewing works or how garments are even particularly made. But turns out you just sew the two halves on each side of the zip. Not fucking rocket science. As you can see, the zip goes straight through the fucking graphic. These patches are just cut out in half, sewn on. Not that hard. Moving on. I think, oh, that's literally, oh yeah. I don't know why I was looking at something else. Stripe development, not too hard to realize. Two is not enough. Let's make it four. Fills up more dead space, adding stronger detail for the garment entirely, even if it's a subtle development. Yeah, I don't know why I added images, but yeah, I guess you can get the idea if you're a visual learner. Here you can see all these guys have multiple stripes on their sleeves. Yeah, I guess that's the idea. I guess, yeah, the gray works well with white colored stripes, so now we know what it looked like with a gray colorway. This is exactly right. So now that I'm doing the gray colorway, if I ever want stripes, I'll. Oh, actually, blue stripes wouldn't even be bad though, since we have like a consistency going, with the blue sleeves. We'll probably try that. We're gonna try blue sleeves, blue pockets. Sorry, not sleeves. Blue pockets on the gray, and then we'll try gray on gray with the white stripes. So do gray on gray with white stripes, or gray on blue with blue stripes. Oh my days! Oh yo, I need to write that down. Uh, we'll try gray on blue tone, gray on blue pocket with blue stripes, or gray on gray pocket with white stripes. And the blue on blue would just be blue stripes as normal. Yeah, because I think before, even in the earlier stages of V1, we talked about the stripes. Making white stripes on blue is a little too loud. It takes away from the main graphic. So maybe, yeah. I don't know. It's subject to change. Yeah. Feels more balanced visually, by the way. To be honest. By the way, I'm tweaking today. I think it's getting to me. Yeah. It's just with four. This is five, but you get the idea. Four is, yeah. Just feels a little more filled in, there's less space. I look you would do three. It's a little more balanced, but yeah, Adidas has trademarked that, so I'm not trying to die. And this is yeah, this is it. So I guess the last development, probably one of the biggest ones, plaid fabric lined interior. Um, Obviously everything I've done here, up until this very start, all this, everything here is carefully thought out. I don't just do things um because it looks cool, or like just because I'm, you know, trying to see what's trendy these days or relevant. All these things here, intentional. Um, this is no different, but it low key is on the trendier side. So it would make sense if you'd say it that way, if you think that way. First off, I did know it does look fucking sick. Trend or not, it does look pretty sick. Um, it actually represents nonconformity, nostalgic rebellion, which appeared prominently through old 1970s punk rebellion movements. So this is real culture at hand here. It does fit in and tie into our, nostalgic, whatever, vintage kind of aesthetic. Nonconformity as well. We're not conforming to standards. We are who we are. We are expressing ourselves who we are. We are just, yeah, we don't conform to nobody's standards. So in a way, it is still intentional. It does relate to the message we're trying to put out. Um, it also adds a whole new interior layer, which is increases GSM a lot, and the heavyweight feel. This will be a lot more heavier now because there's a whole new layer of fabric. Um, and yeah, just some colorways for the different two colors. And these are also the instructions, because also once again, Loki thought to myself, how the hell would I even make that or request that? You wouldn't just add it to the mock-up and say, I put in some a plaid, lined interior in my hoodie. Like I could do that, but I want to be specific. So we got 100% cotton flannel, brushed, or 100% cotton wove fabric, whatever that is. No polyester. Inside lining is yarn dyed, and it has to be woven, not printed onto any fabric surface. It'll be a light to medium weight, 150 GSM to 180, so that the hoodie stays comfortable and not too stiff. So I guess you could say with this extra layer, it could basically be a winter, kind of piece. It's not a thing you wear every day, which works because realistically, if we're selling this in the US markets, and I'm low key projecting this to be fully fledged out on release for around November, or that, around that time. That is basically like winter almost. It's getting cold out down there in the US over there. So it makes sense. It does align, you know, with the times. Um, just yeah, these are just instructions, making sure that the the fabric is lined inside the entire hood and body and the sleeves. And because it's an extra layer of fabric, you don't want it to be too tight or stiff, especially with the sleeves. So we have to increase the outer hoodie lining a little bit, which I would just add the measurement to the tech pack so that the final fit remains true to size. Um, and yeah, so well, we got one, two, three, four, five, potentially five. One, two, so one, two, three, four, five, six new changes. I guess five changes, one revision. Um, for this hoodie. Now, does that qualify for an entirely new piece? I have no fucking clue. I don't know if the manufacturer. I don't think the manufacturer would really disagree, nor would she care. In the end, I'm giving her money and shit. So, it's literally her job to do this. So I don't know why she would disagree. I didn't ever say I was confirming the bulk order for the version one. One thing I haven't been able to actually test is the fit. That will be done in the revision sheet, letting them know if the fit is ass or not. Hopefully, it's not. I feel like, judging by the photo, they didn't do too bad on it. It looks pretty good. It's cropped to the waist. Yeah, looks looks good. The sleeves are longer than the waist, so you can tell it's like a crop proportion. Fits nice on the shoulders. There's a drop shoulder with the seams. Yeah, judging by this mannequin and his big ass bulge. Oh, you guys can't fucking see. Yo, I keep doing that. Oh my god. Okay, just get a quick look. Yeah, judging by this, looks pretty good. Um, yeah, that is all. So here, it all ends into here. Final iteration mockups. I will post the mockups here probably by tomorrow. If me and Lewis do a boot camp tomorrow, I will definitely. That'll be my goal for tomorrow. To have those two mockups finish the gray colorway. I'm curious to see how I go about those. Will I stick with the blue pockets? Will I change back to default colors? Will I even scrap the two-tone color concept idea entirely? This is all very probable. Potentially could happen. Just depends on what feels right. Yeah. One thing I also don't really know is what is a revision sheet supposed to look like? Is it like a document with photos? And like, am I supposed to label shit? I probably am. But I'm thinking more like, does it have to be more specific, like a tech pack, where I'm, describing Pantone IDs and adding descriptions and labeling other stuff and making more size charts. But low key, that's kind of a dilemma I've been having all day. But seeing as the new piece or the V2 development has five whole new, entirely different not even adjustments yet, like five whole new different changes to the piece. um I don't know, like, do I feel like I have to make a whole new tech pack for that. uh but I think I could still qualify it for a V2. I'll probably, yeah, call it V2 of my tech pack. um yeah, yeah. What is it, what else do I have to say? I had to say something, I forgot. um I was about to say, yeah, I think these changes still do qualify under a the same product. This isn't an entirely new piece, because in the end, I'm making changes to the original. So it's basically just an updated version of the first. So yeah, guess you could say it still does qualify as the same thing. It's not an entirely different new product, even though we're making a whole new colorway, um, which is another whole new fucking product. As in, I have to spend another extra whatever 250 for another sample, and then I also need to quality control a whole nother product. But it's just color, so as long as the production of the two are the same, um, visually, yeah, it should just be about the color. Shouldn't have to worry about the fit or anything. They should all both be the same. I'll probably have to rescale my measurements, which is it's gonna be harder because I don't really have a hoodie that is actually. I might be a fucking liar. Oh no, not really. This is a hoodie I have. If you know, you know. Don't ask where it's from. Don't ask how much it is. Just don't worry about it. This is it has a inside lining of this skull pattern. Okay, if you really know, you know. If you can't tell what it is by now, then you're just you can stay innocent. You don't need to dive into this area. But yeah, it has a skull interior lining that is stitched separately. I can clearly tell here. And it's literally you can pull it out, so it's clearly stitched on individually. um, yeah, I don't know. That actually wouldn't really help me at all. I don't know why I pulled that out anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. Uh, we'll get there when we get there. Right now, our next steps are just creating the two mockups, confirming those details, whether I want gray on gray, and blue, just default blue. Whether I want two tone. Do I want two tones for the color? I'm gonna write this down actually so I don't forget. Um, this notebook. Oh, this was a sketchbook turned into now an art board, I guess, for my designs. It used to be filled with genuine sketches. Yo, let me show y'all a sketch I made that I'm proud of. Hey, tough dude. This was like fucking 5 months ago. This was like a year ago. No, not a year ago. This was like 7 months ago. Anyways, yeah, you guys can't see what I'm doing, but just I'll narrate it. Confirming details. I don't know why I wrote. Wait, I should have wrote details to be confirmed. Um, do we proceed with two-tone color? Oh my god, this is a very expensive pencil, by the way. Mechanical. This is an art pencil, but I'm using it to draw now. To write now. I'm gonna write V2. Yo, is this shit tweaking, bro? Like I was making a clicking noise. I'm scared. Did I break it? Oh, mate. Gray on gray. And blue default. Or gray on blue. Yeah, this is very boring, so I don't know why I'm even still recording. Plus blue on dark blue. Today I hit legs. Tomorrow, I actually had I was thinking originally a regime of 3 days in the gym, 3 days of running. I want to get back into running. I think my PTSD trauma kind of worn off from that one day. I think it's titled "Craziest Day of 2026." That that day that video explains exactly in detail why I lucky have PTSD trauma from running. But I think I'm good off. I think I'm cured now. Get off that. Get back to running. Running was fun. Running was fun until But yeah, this is like just crazy to look at. Like, I can never imagine that I'd be able to produce such a coherent mind map or like, brainstorm. Like, everything kind of like connects. It's like those crime investigation scenes where everything is like a pin board and it's like fucking pins attached with the strings and they all tie together. This feels like that kind of. It's really really satisfying to look at. Like, and it's not like a. It doesn't feel like homework to me, like an assignment where it's like, wow, I really completed it. It's just like I'm watching it build and grow. It's not like a burden to me. This is actually a fun project that I'm working on and I get to develop it. And it's like all according to me. It's just like, yeah, man, I've never felt this way about work before. Like doing things and it's not feeling like a burden to me, like, oh, I have to get this done, or oh, I have to do this, or I have things to do. Every day I wake up and every night I go to sleep, I'm like free. My energy is positive, and I work with a good, positive perspective. Everything is fun to me and it's enjoyable. I'm loving this journey, bro. Like genuinely, genuinely, genuinely. I don't know what I was. Maybe I've said this before in ecom, but back then I guess I was partially lying to myself. But literally right now, nothing to be afraid of. This is the full, raw, genuine, authentic self talking here. This is this is fun. This is fun. I'm excited for what this is to. If there was anything I'd genuinely be, kind of like, it's kind of like costs a lot of money, so I need to work my job to get money. That is, yeah. That has nothing to do with the brand though. It's just like you have to fund it somehow. You need capital to fund it. 9 to 5 to fund your 5 to 9. So what can I do? What can I do? But yeah. Once we're in Melbourne, bro, boys, it's gonna get fucking hectic, mate. But yeah, this is a whole mind map. So next steps, finish the mock-ups. By confirming the details. And then once the mock-ups are done, this should all be done throughout the next week. And by the next week, our sample should be arriving. It has 5 to 7 day shipping. Should be arriving by then. The idea is that once the sample arrives, test all that. But up towards that time, I'm thinking we need to have our revision sheet done. Revision sheet slash tech pack. I think the first few pages of the tech pack or the PDF or whatever will just have some revisions. Like, yeah, you guys did a good job with the fit. The fabric stripes are well done. I'd say that as well. The fitting is nice, sizing is nice. But there are a lot of changes to be made. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's might as well put it in a PDF and make a whole document. I feel like just typing it in chat to the manufacturer is not as she might not take it seriously. So yeah, this is probably my longest video in months. I think I've extended it further than I need to, but it's been a busy day today. It is not busy, but like we've got a lot done today because we've made probably the most progress today. Usually I would confirm things like this, like one or two things, kind of moving ahead slowly. But today we've basically redesigned the whole version 2. There could be a version 3. I feel like, we could redesign some other stuff. Oh, that's another thing I need to confirm. Confirm the patch arrangement. That is another thing. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is why I'm dragging this video. I just kind of pops up in my head. Confirm the patch arrangement. Does it have more than one? Because if it does have more than one patch, I will need to create more graphics. Is it one single large? Now, my original idea here, guys, was to take this sample to Japan and take a bunch of photos with it. But this first sample is absolutely fucking butt. And seeing as our V2 is quite literally going to be nothing compared to the V1, it doesn't make sense to take a bunch of photos of the product if it, in the end, um, when we go out to promo, it looks nothing like the original. So I'm a bit conflicted here because obviously my Japan trip is 24th, is the 29th. So realistically, by the time we can have the second sample produced, it'll probably be almost a month and a half by now. Because by next week we'll have our revision sheet. I'll have no idea how long it takes for the next production to start. It could be within the next, it could be in the next 2 weeks, or it could be by next week. If I were to say, like confidently, probably the next 2 weeks. So yeah, definitely cannot get my second sample the um, by the flight, which is okay. Uh, I don't really know what I'll do there, but yeah, I'm going crazy on this. Not in the sense of I want to make it a 10 out of 10 product. Literally make it to the best of my ability. My first sample V1 heavily underdid. It's actually crazy to see how far we've come in such a month and only a month of developing. I've literally barely had this brand for a month, like literally. Oh, sorry, 2 months. I think I started in early April. So yeah, barely been in here 2 months. Uh, I'm making this 10-10, bro. But enough said. I'm not gonna drag this any longer. I have a lot more I can talk about, but yeah, this is day 202. I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, but it's been fun. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.